Woo! There we go. There we go, guys. Hello, everyone. Yeah. So usually I have a trailer. At least most times I have a trailer, but I don't think that my current guest has a trailer for his campaign. So we're doing without. If if he has one, we will show it later. So anyway, yeah. So another drink with Brink today. Welcome, everyone. In this show, I talk with other indie creators about their lives and their careers and their books and their campaigns because people often invite me to their shows and I appreciate that and I want to do something in return for this amazing community. So yeah, it's been a interesting week for me. Yesterday was interesting. We had a stream yesterday, the Dutch angle, and the topic was gatekeeping, and it was kind of a hot topic apparently because people were talking about it, and I even got mail. So, and I got like 6 new subscribers. So it was really a weird evening, but I appreciate everyone who always comes to follow our streams. And sometimes I even think, why are people watching us? But then people show up and they seem to appreciate what we do. So if you have topics, by the way, for future streams, let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. I want to talk about things that interest you. Okay. Plus, last week I got a printed books. So for the current campaign that we have, Perfect 10 issue 3, we have like 3 books. We have 2 new books, which is Perfect 10 issue 3, which is not done yet. We are still working on that one. And the other 2 books, which is Crossworld issue 1, plus the second printing of Perfect 10 issue 1 with the new cover. These are printed. So I have them here. This is the new Crossworlds book. It's a crossover comic between JMO Comics and Arctic Press. So Arctic Press will also publish their own version of this book, but with our version, you get special pinups that you don't get with Arctic Press, guys. So and you can get it through the current campaign. That's the only way you can get this book. And then we have the second printing, guys. This is the first comic that we have a second print run from. This is incredible. So the second printing of Perfect 10 issue 1. It has a brand new cover by Eduardo de Souza. It has a new back cover by Randy Green. I'm so excited, guys. And this book won awards, right? I'm an award-winning comic book creator, and I can't say it now. I feel awkward when I say it, but it's the truth. I can't help it. It just happened. And so check it out, guys. The campaign is still going while while issue 3 is being produced. So yeah. Okay, guys, let's see who is in the chat. We have, hey, Mike. Mike is always here. Mike is our our regular. He is, yeah. Hi, Dave and guest. I can't be here for the live stream. Oh, okay. Have to see a visiting relative before he leaves, but wanted to drop in and see the replay. All right, man. Thank you so much for dropping in. And if this is the replay, hey, Mike, welcome. And then we have 58 Underground. Hey, Dave, hope you are well. Good discussion yesterday. Yeah, man, it was so good to see you there also in the chat. It's always good to see you, man. Welcome, sir. And then we have Oliver from 656 Comics. Welcome, Oliver. How are you doing? Good to see you, man. And of course, Dr. Ino. We don't have a show without Dr. Ino. So welcome, Doctor. How are you, man? Okay, guys. Our guest, I have to be totally clear. I did not know this creator. I talked to him yesterday or the day before yesterday for the first time. I didn't know his book either, but this is fun because I would like to meet new people and introduce new people to you guys. And if you have a campaign going on, and you can always reach me. Every Sunday I have this show, and I want to have as many people to talk with, as many other creators as possible. So today, our guest, let's just bring him on. Bring him on, guys. Okay, here's my new guest for today. Welcome, Julius Freeman.
Hey,
Hey.
thank you for that. That was a great introduction.
Oh, thank you. It was a bit long. I think my intro was a bit too long. Sorry about that.
Oh, not a problem. I like the praise. Give me more praise.
Right. More praise. All right.
more,
Yeah.
more.
Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you opening up your door and allowing me into your house, and I'm eager and looking forward to talking comics and talking about my project, and even a little bit about your project. And yeah, it's great. Thanks for having me.
That's
Thanks for having me
great,
on.
man. I love that. I love that passion, that
Yeah,
enthusiasm. Oh,
absolutely.
let me. Usually I forget the ticker, and I don't want to forget the ticker. I make a ticker every time. This time I made one. Let me see. Here we go.
Ah,
Yay!
nice.
I thought about it. Sometimes I go through the entire stream without even thinking. So yeah.
since
Anyway,
since your show is called A Drink with Brink, what are you drinking?
I'm always drinking the same. I'm very boring. I have my cola. It's Pepsi
Ah,
Max. That's
nice,
my regular drink.
nice.
So, and what are you drinking, sir?
I know some people out there might think I'm crazy, but I'm drinking a glass of wine. And yes,
Wine. Oh yeah.
it's 8 o'clock somewhere, and apparently it's 8 o'clock in the evening where you're at. So cheers, my friend.
Exactly. You got that right. So yeah. So, but it's not because of the nerves. Do you feel nervous when you need to
Oh
go
no,
on?
no, no. I just thought, drink with Brink. I was like, hey, maybe I'll have a drink with Brink,
Yeah.
and what kind of drink should I have? So I was like, you know what, a glass of wine would be kind
You
of
know what?
nice. I already had my breakfast, so I'm not drinking on an empty stomach.
Right. Yes.
So I had my breakfast. Now I'm just enjoying a nice glass of wine and talking to
Exactly.
Mr. David Brink.
Extra special occasion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So uh okay. The first half of the show, usually I talk about the guest because people do not know you and I do not know you, and we would like to talk a bit about Mr. Julius Freeman.
All
So,
right. Sounds good.
what is your history with comics?
Oh, my history with comics goes back to when I was I want to say 11. So when I was 11, a cousin of mine brought home an issue of Spawn, the first issue of Spawn,
Spawn. Okay, yeah,
to my
yeah.
house. He came over and he showed it to me, and it was like, what is this? What am I looking at here? And he's, oh, it's a comic book. And I was like, it's a comic book? What is that? I had no idea what that was. And when he broke it down to me and he told me this artist, oh, he used to draw for Marvel Comics, and he, used to draw Spider-Man, but then now he's doing his own thing. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was looking through the book and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I asked him, do they sell these books like at the supermarket or like at the stores? He's like, no, you have to go to like a special store where they sell them to get it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
And after that, I forgot about it. It wasn't fast forward to 13 when I became 13 years old. My stepdad had taken me and my siblings to the mall for a back to school shopping supplies, and we drove by the comic book store on the way
Mhm.
there. So I made a
Right.
mental note of where this comic book store was at, and so did my chores, raised a little bit of my own money, and I took the bus to that comic book store, and I entered. And after that, I was hooked. I was completely just mesmerized by everything about it, like the posters on the wall, the colors, like it's all like everywhere I
Yeah.
walked in, I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm seeing Superman, Batman, Wolverine, the Pit.
So,
um
so did you know these characters, or were they
no, I
completely
knew
new?
I knew Superman because Superman was
Right.
my favorite character,
Mm.
and of course I knew Batman. I also knew Spider-Man as well, but that was it. And X-Men. and obviously X-Men because of the cartoon series. So when I saw that, I was
All
like,
right.
oh wow,
Yes.
this is great. I get to see all my favorite characters here in this place. And then after that, like I said, I was hooked, and I've been collecting comics since I was since 13. Never stopped.
All right. Right. But this was in so Spawn. That's the 90s, right?
It
And
was the
you
90s, yeah.
yeah, and you were told that you could buy them in specific stores.
In a
So
specific store, but since I was 11, of course,
yeah.
I wasn't yet allowed to, I guess, go on my own and do my, do my
Yes.
thing. And then 13, that's when my parents kind of felt like, okay, you're old enough now to know, what to do in case of an emergency, in case something happens, whatever. And so they gave me enough confidence to go on my own on the bus and do all that stuff. So yeah, 13 was the age where I was able to have some, do some chores around the house, get some money, and then go to the comic book store and buy a nice stack of comics, because at the time they were $1, I think $1.50 at the time. So you can
Yeah.
imagine
Yes.
$20 in your pocketbook, and you could go out there with a nice little stack of comics.
Yes.
So yeah, those were the
Those
good old
were the
days.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, those were the
So
days,
so
exactly.
yeah, but you're from the United States,
I'm from the United States. Yes, I'm from
right?
California, born and raised.
Did
And
they have in the 90s? You couldn't buy comics at supermarkets, for instance.
I think it was around the time when they were starting to stop selling
Yeah.
comics, like at the
Right.
at the supermarkets or at the other stores, and it was just strictly comic book stores and specialty stores, I guess is what it was told to me back then.
Right.
And yeah, so you just have to go to a comic book store and buy comics. And for a few years I went to, the place was called Cosmic Comics. They're no longer around, but
Right.
at the time they were the place, it was the place to be. Like I would get there and then it would just be packed sometimes, like on a Saturday or on a Sunday, and be full of readers talking,
Yeah,
hanging
that's
out, talking
exciting.
about which character was better, who was writing what, who was drawing what, who was drawing the best. It was cool. It was a cool environment, and I miss those days because it was great uh to interact with older readers who been reading comics for a few years, and they were able to tell me like, oh yeah, have you checked this book out, have you tried this book out? And it
Yes.
was great to
Yes.
kind of get that knowledge, built up over time, and
Right.
especially being recommended great quality books from other readers who knew what they bought, who knew what they wanted, and knew what was good and what wasn't good. So it was cool. It was a great environment.
Yes. And everyone is there because they have the same uh, passion for comics, right? And
Oh
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what connects you. That's great. Do you feel that nowadays this has changed a little bit? That the topic is it's not as um, it was just fun, you know. You could talk about comics, that was it. But nowadays,
Yeah.
my observation is everything got a little bit political,
Hmm.
or it's not the same. Do you
No,
think so?
yeah, you're right. It's not the same because growing up in my part of the country, anyway, talking politics was something private. You didn't really talk openly about your politics, your personal politics. You kind of kept that to yourself. And the only time you would speak about it is if someone asked you, "Hey, what's your stance on this? What's your stance on that?" Then you would discuss. But even back then, it was still respectful. You could
Hmm.
still disagree, but
Right.
there was no disrespect factor there because you're face to face, as opposed to social media. You're protected by a wall of digital zeros and ones, so you could be as mean and nasty as you want
Yeah.
because you're not face to face with someone. Because obviously, uh, when you're face to face with someone, the respect level stays balanced. And then when you get to see when the disrespect starts to rise, that's when it can escalate and it could be a bad thing. But um, yeah, it's different for sure. It's still kind of the same in a lot of ways. There's still a lot of people on here, like yourself, your channel, for instance, and other channels that I've noticed that I've caught, that still talk about comics and still do the same thing that what I used to do at the comic book shops, which is talk about the direction they're taking a character or
Right.
direction the book is going. And that was the main like discussion points in the comic book stores, is that, you know, the main point was always, oh, once, you know, this writer left the book was never the same. You know, once they hired this artist to draw the book, the book was never the same. So it was the same thing, and it's still going on to this day. But like you said, it's a lot more politically slanted now than it was, as focusing on the skill level of the writer and artist involved in the book, which is what I think we should talk about more often when it comes to indie comics, is that we shouldn't focus too much on the political parts. We should focus on how is the skill level of this creator and artist. You know, do
the
they
stories or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is not the same. I feel sometimes that stories nowadays matter less. They usually
do.
Back in the day, we could talk about storylines. Wow, this was fantastic. This yet classic storylines. I don't feel that many classic storylines are being written today.
I agree. No, I agree with you on that totally, because that's what that was my observation too lately, is that, and again, this is not a knock on the artists involved at all. This is just an observation.
Mm-hmm.
It's all primarily art focused, which is, again, fine. We're in comics. That's part of it. But for me, what kept me coming back to the shops every month were the stories. Mm-hmm. If I picked up a Wolverine book or a Spider-Man book or whatever, a Superman book, the artwork can be fantastic. The artwork can be top quality stuff. But if the story didn't hit for me, I stopped buying the book, because why am I going to keep buying the book where the story isn't really hooking me to continue on reading?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a major factor for me that I think is missing in today's landscape, is that people are not really talking about the story anymore. And that's the important factor of comics, is the story. What keeps you coming back? You know, you have your book, Perfect 10. It's in your third issue. The reason why you're in your third issue is because you have readers coming back and wanting more. They want to know more of what you're giving them, right? So that's a good sign. That's a sign that you have readers going, hey, this is great. When is the next one coming out? And you can keep on churning them out. And that's why I like, you know, your channels like yours, where it's focused more on the story element of comics. And that's why I was really eager to come on your show, because I know you focus on that. So, you know, again, thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Yeah. Okay, so you were 11. You were introduced to Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually the first comic that you read about superheroes.
It was the first comic that was like, whoa, this is cool. The artwork is fantastic. It's a new character. I never heard of this character. You know, you're at that point, I was established to the mainstream characters like Superman, Batman, and X-Men. But Spawn, what is that? What is this? Like, this is what comics do? Like, you can create new characters that have cool, unique powers. This is cool. I dug that part of comics, is that that these artists involved in this medium, in this industry, were able to go beyond what was created back in the day with Kirby and Lee and Roy Thomas, and, you know, all those other classic writers like Frank Miller, and the list goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And then for it to come to, you know, to the 90s, for me to be introduced to the Todd McFarlanes, the Rob Liefelds, the Mark Silvestris, and them creating these new crazy looking fantastical characters that really showed me that, okay, comics, you could do so much more with comics.
Yes.
You know, that you can't do with movies or TV.
Exactly.
You can create something like, for instance, the Max was one of my favorite indie books ever, because of how unique that character was. The Max, the way the artist, I keep forgetting the artist's name, and then shame on me, I should know his name off the top of my head. Sam Keith, thank you.
Yes.
The way he designed that Max character, and his style too, was very unique and alluring to me as a teenager. You know, I was 16 at the time when I started reading Max.
Right.
And I was just thinking, like, wow, this is so amazing that instead of looking at nice and sharp and crisp like in the DC or Marvel books, here's this guy drawing it in a whole different way, and you just can't help but just appreciate his boldness to I'm gonna draw it this way because why not?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what comics for, man. You
exactly.
have
Yeah,
to push those boundaries.
absolutely.
Hello, Crazy Matt. Welcome.
Crazy
Welcome
Matt.
to the show. And welcome, Craig. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm not going to give you this long ass hail, but just hail, Craig. Welcome.
So Gregory, Gun Demon. I can't wait for Gun Demon.
Oh yeah,
Really waiting
Gandhi.
for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, looks great.
That looks great.
Hmm.
50th Underground said, agree with you guys. The stories nowadays don't have the substance they
Mm.
previously did. Fortunately, there are many indie comics that are focusing on the stories and characters. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are. They're coming up.
And Greg says there aren't many indies focusing on writing. Hell, most don't even hire editors. The indies have a long way to go still.
Great point,
It
Gregory.
is true, man. It
Great,
is
great
true.
point. Yeah, editors are really important, and I've started to learn that myself. Is that you do need a second set of eyes to capture the mistakes you have you may have overlooked as a writer because you can't really catch it all. Max
That's
is one
right.
of the best comics. And oh yeah, absolutely, Greg. Absolutely. The
Yeah, yeah,
Max is
yeah.
like mwah, like just what creativity can take you. It's the Max,
Yes.
that's like the best option, not the best option, the best example of not allowing yourself to be bound by um the norm of sequential storytelling.
Hmm. Yeah. So what made you decide to make your own comic?
It was, believe it or not, it was V for Vendetta. After I read V for Vendetta by Alan Moore and David Lloyd,
All right.
that book really transformed me as not only a
So it's
as
not
a
recent. It's not recent that you made the decision. It's
oh yeah, it was when I was I read V for Vendetta when I was, I think it was either 20
all
or
right.
21.
Yeah.
I can't remember how old I was, but that was the first time I actually read something that was outside the superhero genre. So before then, it was all about superheroes. It was all about Marvel comics, DC
Right.
comics, and that was it. And then, of course, there were exceptions like Max and the Pit, but a lot of those times those books were late. So
Yeah.
you kind of forgot about those books because
Right.
sometimes it would be 3 or 4 months in between issues, and you would just like lose interest, not because you weren't interested in the story. It's just you just forgot. You just like, oh,
Right. Yes.
this hasn't come out yet, so okay, I guess I'll look for something
You
else.
need that comic fix, so you go look for other things. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Welcome, by the way, Bristolian Dave.
hey, what's up, Bristolian?
All right, me babbers. Done.
um, so yeah, V for Vendetta was the book that for me really transformed me as a comic book reader because it really showed me that the comic book medium didn't belong to only superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
You can do and write whatever you want in the
Mm-hmm.
comic book medium. And I love the fact that Alan Moore was able to create this character with David Lloyd. And I keep getting books that are written by 12-year-olds.
Yeah, sometimes.
You don't want to name any names, Greg? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Where was I? And so Alan Moore really, I guess, proved to me that if you just have a great story, again, going back to story,
Mm-hmm.
and a compelling one at that, that comic books can be written about anything. You could write about anything with comic books.
Yes.
And that was the first time where I was like, okay, I can do this. And of course I looked into Alan Moore after that because I heard of Watchmen and everyone recommended me Watchmen, but I'm the type of person who likes to kind of go against what the majority recommends me. So I was like, you know what? I'll read Watchmen later. I'll read something else of his first, just to see if he's not a one-trick pony or one-hit wonder, right? And so I read I chose V for Vendetta, and then after that I was blown away, and I looked into Alan Moore and I realized, oh wow, this guy kind of has the same background story as me. He grew up in a lower class, middle class, type of upbringing with his family in Britain, his education, he really didn't care about. It's not he didn't care about his education, but the education system kind of forgot about him, and he just lost himself in comics. And I was like, dude, that's me. That's what I did. I lost myself in comics, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, if this guy can do it, I can do it. And that's what led me to my writing journey to become a comic book writer since then. So that was the book that got me to go, I want to write comics, because there's so much there's so much more you can do in comics than you can for, like I said earlier, TV or film. And
Right.
comics is like the right way to go for me. Hey,
Yeah,
Darkside, thanks for being here.
Hello, Marinus. Welcome, man. Everyone, subscribe to Darkside is Comics. He has a channel where he reviews comics every day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's crazy active.
He's doing the good work.
Yes. Yeah. He reads comics no one else wants to read. So yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the hard work, the good work, because we need people like that to tell us this isn't good, or this needs, this could be better, or whatever. And we need that. We need that in today's age.
Yes. Okay, so you wanted to make your comic. Did you already play around with ideas for stories, or did that start after you decided I'm going to do something with comic books?
I was always an imaginative kid growing up. I used to walk to school every day, and it was about a 30-minute walk every morning. And so every morning I would just
that's really
walk
good.
by
Clear
myself,
your head.
and and my imagination would just run wild every single day. I walked to school, and walked home from school. And pray, Darkside, please, more Darkside. You're awesome. And so I always had this like overactive imagination, and always came up with stories, these grand stories in my head whenever I get bored of school as well, and also when I walked home and from school, to and from school. And I there was one story I'll share with you, where I was walking home from school one day, and I looked up at an apartment. I walked by an apartment complex, and I saw in the window, like in the third level, just a random person, just like inside in their kitchen, just kind of looking at something. And in my head, I'm thinking like, wow, wouldn't it be crazy if a CIA agent was in there and they're fighting and they threw it, I was just like, ran wild, So it always stuck with me, because I just like, that's just crazy, Julio. Like, relax, Julius. Relax.
At that point in your life, because I recognize it, but at that point you don't realize that it's kind of special. You think it's normal for a child to have all these things going on.
Exactly.
But other people don't usually have that.
Yeah, my friends would be like, what? Whenever I would tell them all these crazy ideas, they'd be just like, what? You thought of all that? Like, what the hell, dude? We're just talking about, we're talking about donuts, and you're like went off on a tirade,
So right. So you had these ideas. You were very, very imaginative.
Yeah. So after V for Vendetta, that's when I started actually writing down ideas, right? And I kept journals, I kept notebooks, and I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And it was a process, because I didn't know the rules of writing yet. I was more, it'll just come to me. It'll just come to me easy. And in reality, as I come to learn later, is that writing is about 10% writing, and 90% of it is editing. That's where your stories really take shape, is editing. So you always constantly have to edit, and I hated editing. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. And it wasn't until maybe I hit my 30s is when I started finally coming around to I have to learn how to edit. I have to learn how to do that, because if I don't, then my stories are going to suffer. And there was a period in my life in my 20s where I wasn't completely, I guess you could say I wasn't in a good place for most of it. And so there was a few points where I took breaks from pursuing comics, because I had to deal with other personal stuff. But it wasn't until my 30s when I finally got a hold of my life, I guess you could say, that I finally started to focus on, okay, I have to get better as a writer. I have to learn editing. I have to take it serious. And I can't take it personal when a peer gives me constructive criticism, which
Right.
is
Right.
which is what most young writers make the mistake of doing. They take the constructive criticism as personal attacks, and
Mhm.
that's what I did in my 20s. Like, "Ah, you just don't know my genius. You just
Yes.
don't
Yes.
know. You just don't know what I got in here, right?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so as I got older and I realized, no, I have to put that away and I have to sit down, keep my mouth shut, open my ears, and just listen and grow. And ever since then, I've gone up. So I'm happy that I was able to finally come to terms with that. And here we are. Here we are. I did a campaign a couple years ago called Ghetto Dragon. That was my first campaign. That was
Right.
relatively successful. And
Was that
before
also your
that,
first book?
that was my first book for
Your first
crowdfunding.
book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before that, I had been submitting to Image. I've been submitting to Dark Horse.
All
I was
right.
doing submissions to publishers who were willing to, who had open submissions, and I would hope that they would, you know, recognize my genius, right, and
Right.
hire me. But
So you wrote some Spawn scripts, for instance, or
more like original content.
okay.
Typically I went for the publishers who looked for original material.
Mm.
And then
All
I
right.
would develop, an original character, a story, and then I would pitch to them. I would find an artist, hire them, and have them draw 5 pages of a concept. So that way, maybe if they like it,
Right.
I could hire the artist, and he could hop on, and so on and so
Yes.
forth. But nothing was sticking. And so when crowdfunding came, I thought, okay, here's my chance. Here's my
Mhm.
chance to finally prove to readers that I do have what it takes to write a good story, a good comic book story at that. And yeah, I took advantage of it, and I did my first campaign. The very
Mhm.
first one didn't do well. I actually didn't fund. I had to refund all the money back to the backers,
Oh man.
and I retreated back, reassessed, and then I
Right.
came back out. And the second time around, I actually found some success. So
Yes. Yes.
that was
It's
great.
good that you didn't get discouraged,
Right.
because
Oh
it also
yeah. That's
happens that people just drop off
mm-hmm.
the map because they failed, and that's
Right.
it. Yeah.
No,
It's
I
it's
I uh,
it's very
I
tough
was.
to actually make it, man. So
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I actually have this quote that I have on top of my wall that I look at every day, and it's a quote by one of my favorite stand-up comedians, Andy Kaufman.
Mm.
And the quote says, "The secret to success is failure." And
Right.
that's a mantra I use for myself. It's like, okay, just because I failed does not mean it's over. It just means I have to keep going and learn from the mistakes, so that will make them again, and then just keep on building, keep on going, keep on trucking, as the song goes,
Right.
or the saying, I should say.
Darkseid is already asking questions about the comic book. So maybe this is a good moment to just
Yeah,
bring up your campaign,
yeah, let's
and we
go
can
for it.
talk about that. Let me see. Share screen. You don't have video, so you don't need the
Yeah, no, I
sound.
I thought about making a video trailer, but I I ran out of time, so
Right. Yes.
I wish I would have had a trailer. That would have been dope, but I just I ran out of time to make one. So it's
Right.
just what it is what it is,
Because
right?
you had this timeline for yourself that you needed to start at a specific date.
Yeah. I launched. I activated the pre-launch, I think, in March,
Mhm.
and with the intention of launching in June, because of course um, I wanted to build some hype around it. Of course, you want to get more eyes and ears to this project, and then when you launch it, hopefully these people who signed to the pre-launch will back it, and not
Yes.
only
Yeah.
back it but also spread the word
Mhm.
of this campaign to other potential backers who are looking for this kind of a story. So yeah, it was definitely my intention was to launch it in June, and so far so good. At 10% the first week, it's pretty good. We're going slowly along, but we're getting
Right.
there. I'm confident that we'll get there, and by the
So you,
end.
so you had a pre-launch page for this, you said,
Yes,
right?
yes.
May I ask how many signups you got?
I got about I think it was 26, which
Mhm.
isn't that bad. Which is
All right.
of course
Yeah.
you wish it would be a lot larger than that, but 26 for all intents and purposes is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
For a new title, right?
A new
This is a
title.
new title.
Yeah, a new
Yeah.
title. Yeah, separate from the Ghetto Dragon.
Okay, so let's see. Vigilant Fury. Angela Perez will
Mm-hmm.
kill her way to freedom. Okay, it gives a little bit about. I can imagine a little bit about the story now.
Cool, cool.
So yeah, and you're well, you still have a long way to go. You have a fixed goal. So if you do not make it, what's the plan if you don't make it?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I hadn't thought of that, but we might do a Kickstarter, um,
Mhm.
just to make, because the fixed goal is basically to cover the cost of production of the production of the book. So that's going to cover the cost of the artist fees and some of the printing. And
Yes.
even if we don't make a profit from this book, I still want to produce the book and send it out to readers, because I want, just like every writer, you want readers to come back. You want readers to know your name. You want readers to
Mhm.
remember your name. Oh, Julius
Yes.
Freeman. Yeah, he wrote a good book. I want to back his next one. So even if I don't make a profit, as long as they get their hands on this book and read it and share with the world that this book is freaking fantastic and you guys missed out on this,
Yeah.
don't miss out on his next project, because he wrote a great story here. And that's my goal here for this campaign.
Yes. Yes. It's a long road, man.
Long
It's
road.
the
But we
people
can do it. I'm
often see.
confident. I'm confident that
Yeah.
we can do it.
Exactly. And people often see campaigns that are successful, but what they don't see that is all the long road that went before it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you stumble your way through it, and finally you make it. But
Exactly.
and Darkseid just noted that he is backer 15.
Ah,
Yes.
Darkseid. I'll sing your praises even more, Darkseid.
Refresh, Dave. Okay, let's refresh. We have 12 backers
Thank you,
here,
sir. Thank you. I'll drink to that.
and there we go. 13.
Woo!
Woo!
All right.
Thanks a lot, Darkseid. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Darkseid. I appreciate your support.
Awesome.
Always appreciate your support.
So we have to send at least one comic to the Netherlands.
Nice.
Okay, awesome. That's excellent. Tell us a little bit about the story. What's the book about?
The book is about a young woman named Angela Peretz who goes on vacation to Florida, and she's there to have fun with her friends. She's there to relax, obviously, like any other vacation. But she finds herself quickly kidnapped. She's kidnapped during her vacation, and she is knocked out by chloroform by her captors, and she finds herself inside a container on a container ship heading straight to the Atlantic. And
Wow.
she realizes that no one's coming to save her. No one knows that she's there, because she was unconscious for a few hours in between her time being taken and her waking up in the container. And she knows that the clock is ticking, because once the ship hits international waters, it's over. So she decides, instead of waiting, she's going to fight her way out by any means necessary. And that's the story of Vigilant Fury in a nutshell.
All right. Okay. So it's very action packed.
Very
I
action packed.
think it comes across to me more like an action movie instead of a comic book concept. You know. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
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 I'm a big.
Usually when I have guests on, they have comics about fantasy creatures or superheroes, and you come with something that could basically be a Michael Bay movie, you know?
more like I would say a John McTiernan movie, more
Right.
so.
Yes.
John McTiernan, if you guys don't know, is the director of Predator. He's a director of Die Hard. Very famous action director. So John McTiernan in his prime, this would be probably a movie he would probably have directed.
Yes.
But no, this is definitely a love letter. You're right. You're absolutely right. This is my love letter to the 80s action movies that I grew up on as a kid. I love 80s action films like Die Hard, the first Die Hard movie, Predator. There's
Yes.
Total Recall, RoboCop, even though it's sci-fi, but it still has some action in it.
Man, all those
And
great franchises that we got to know when they were
yeah,
first introduced.
yeah,
They were still
it,
fresh
it's
and new.
it's definitely, yeah, like I said, a love letter to those films.
Yeah.
Also, it's also a love letter to Frank Miller, because Frank Miller to me is one of the best action comic writers that have ever come across, in comics, that's ever come in comics ever.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to capture here. I wanted to capture that Frank Miller energy. And the artist involved in the project, his name's Anthony Gambino. He brought that to this book, and that's what I was
Okay.
looking for when I was looking for the artist. When I was developing the story, in my head, I was picturing like Frank Miller. Frank Miller's hard inks in Sin City, and
Right.
hard black and white inks, not color,
Right.
no color. Screw the color. I mean, again, not a knock on color
Okay.
comics. I love color comics, but this story for me had to be black and white.
Right.
And so, as I was looking for the artist, he found me on Twitter because I had sent out I had put out a tweet asking, for artists to send their samples. I'm looking for an artist that kind of
And
do
you got
paid
flooded.
commission, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he got back to me, showed me his samples, and I dug his style. It was right up my alley. It was a mixture of Frank Miller's hard shadow inks, and on top of that, the almost the cartoony style of Eduardo Rizzo from 100 Bullets. And I thought it was
Right.
a great
Yes.
combination of the two.
Hmm.
And so as I got to know Anthony Gambino, the funny thing is when I told him, "Oh yeah, your stuff reminds me of Frank Miller and Eduardo Rizzo," he was like, "Oh, that's funny you say that because those are two of my most favorite artists that got me into comics." So I was like, "Oh, perfect, it worked out."
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
The universe is falling in place for us, my friend.
That's how these things go, man.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
I
I have
go ahead.
two announcements. One is Devil Flyer came in.
Hey,
Welcome.
Devil Flyer.
Welcome, sir. And the other one is that you have another backer.
Oh, crazy mad. Thank you, my friend. I
Woo!
appreciate your support.
Thanks
Truly,
a lot, man.
truly. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I saw your comic was black and white indeed. So
Mhm.
but it isn't a choice for financial reasons, but specifically because you wanted to emulate this style that you loved.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely a creative choice. And
Exactly.
it was great that Gambino himself also was eager to approach the story in this style. And so it worked out, again, because I was afraid that he was kind of maybe resist me a little bit and then go like, well, we should do it in color because readers prefer color, right?
Right.
Most of us, I would say 99% of us prefer color comics,
Yeah.
myself included. But for this specific story, I felt it has to be in black and white because the content, the themes are so dark that we have to keep it in black and white. We can't do it in color. It won't do it justice,
All
in my
right.
opinion.
All right.
Anyway. And
I
so
got you.
he agreed, and he's all right. Let's go for it because the content is even though the content is heavy, guys, it's not the main point of the story. The point of the story is her willingness to survive. That's the driving force of the plot. Is
Right.
someone fighting from underneath. It's a David and Goliath tale of her realizing I have to, in the title, I have to approach this with vigilance and I have to act with fury because I'm taken against my will. These individuals who took me captive, and also she's not alone, by the way. When she wakes up in the container, she's with other victims of this
Hmm.
terrible, organized, crime organization that involves human trafficking. And
Right.
so she not only that she has to save herself, she also is trying to save the others that are also captured with her. And it all takes place in a container ship. So I mentioned earlier, Die Hard being one of my favorite films. That's what I was channeling. I was channeling John McClane in the tower in Die Hard 1. He's inside this tower and he has to find his way, through the tower to get to his wife. And
Yes.
I also was thinking about the mythical tale of oh gosh, the one about the Minotaur. I was thinking about that too. when I was writing the story. Is the
Right.
maze, the hero having to go through the maze and having to fight this bull-headed monster,
Hmm.
and that's why I also channeled that into this story. And yeah, it really is nonstop action, guys. Like when I say that, I mean it. The From page, I think it's page 24 and on, from page 24 to page 50. I'm not kidding, guys, because I wrote the script. The script's done. The script's written already.
Wow.
It's done. Anthony Gambino can vouch for me. From page 25 to page 50, it's action. Nothing but
Action.
action.
Cool.
So,
Amanda B is here. Hey, welcome.
hey, Amanda, how you doing?
Welcome, Amanda. Nice to see you. Crazy Matt states that he will link it on other channels where he's a mod.
Thank you, Crazy Man. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah. So 50 pages. So how many pages is this book?
Ended up being 80.
80 pages. Wow.
80 pages. Yeah. 80 pages
Crazy.
long. It was originally supposed to be 40. Because I thought the best approach for crowdfunding is to do one-shot comics. For me personally, as a personal choice, because I think
Yeah.
I think when you're new, when you're starting out, like myself, who only has 2 campaigns under their belt, you kind of have to start building the trust of the backers first before you can go for your, my magnum opus, which is I do want to write a comic book with monsters and superheroes and supervillains. That's like that's the dream, right?
All right. Yes.
So I do want to get there at some point, but I also understand that not many people know Julius Freeman. Not many people know me as the writer. So I felt that this next campaign should be a one-shot deal. No book 2 or book 3 like I'm doing with Ghetto Dragon. I should, from here on out, do one shot, so that way when the backers get the book, they read the book and they go, okay, hey, this Julius Freeman, he's pretty good. Like he's actually a decent writer. He can deliver. The story is entertaining, is engaging, and that way when I do produce my big time high concept sci-fi or superhero books, they'll know they're going to get a quality product. So this is just I guess you could kind of see it as like an indie comic in a lot of sense, like an independent film almost.
Yes. And you have the perfect name, like Julius Freeman. That sounds like a writer even. So
yeah.
Okay, so your writing process, right? So you taught yourself how to write.
Yes.
By reading comic books that you liked, and
yes.
So what is your process here? When you send your artist the script, do you leave your artist free to decide for himself where the panels go, or do you lay it out for him?
It depends on the artist. I've worked on this field long enough to know the first thing a writer should always ask their artist is, how would you like me to write the script? So when I hired Gambino, when he came onto the project, the first thing I asked him was like, do you want me to write a detailed script? Meaning, I write a highly detailed, script that involves me telling you what kind of camera angle I want, what exactly what every character is doing, or would you like the Marvel way style, which is I leave it open and I just kind of give you basic instructions and descriptions, but it's going to be ultimately up to you to decide what you want to put in the panels. And so he got back to me. He was like, oh my God, dude, thank you. Like I give me the Marvel way. Give me the Marvel way and I'll give you the best I can. I was like, all right, cool. Then I'll do that. And that's what I did. So I pretty much what you're seeing here is the process that I developed was, since we went down the Marvel way, I write a very loose script and I send it to the artist, and Gambino sends me back thumbnails. Oh, what a cute cat. What's your name? What's your cat's name?
Thibaut.
Thibaut.
Yes. Hey, Thibaut.
Ah, man,
Yeah.
I wish I could have a cat. I love cats. I'm a cat man.
Pain in the ass.
They are a pain in the ass, but I love them.
Brazilian Dave loves the look and the sound of the
Oh,
concept.
thank you, Dave.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. So Gambino sends me back the thumbnails, and then I edit the thumbnails. I move around. I look at the thumbnails. I study them. I make sure everything flows nicely. And if something's not working, then I obviously give him notes and I send it back to him. And then he sends me back revised thumbnails, and everything looks good. And they go, all right, we're good. Let's move on. Let's keep on going. And that's the process that we've been going. And it's been a dream to work with someone like Gambino, because he's not ego driven. So he's okay with me suggesting changes
right.
and not
Collaboration. Yeah,
exactly. It's a true collaboration, as all comic book projects should be, if you have a writer and artist involved in a project.
Yes.
So I've been very lucky to have to be working with someone like Anthony Gambino.
Right. Yeah, it looks nice. It's
all these pages too are hand drawn as well. So he's using actual pens and markers and actual blacks on actual paper, 11x17 Bristol paper. So it's what you're seeing here is straight up from his hand, literally.
A lot of inks. Does he do the lettering also?
No, I letter my books.
You do it yourself?
Yeah, I do it myself.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks the action starts here. Nice. Yeah, cool, man. Vigilant Fury.
Vigilant Fury, and there it is. That's when she realizes that she's inside a container, going, oh crap, like we're not in a good place.
Yeah. You get some layouts here from the artist.
These layouts are for the deluxe edition. So if we reach the goal, it'd be fantastic. But if we reach a stretch goal, which is 5,000 and above, then we're gonna produce a deluxe edition, which is 30 plus more pages of behind the scenes stuff like this. We're going to show you our process. We're gonna show you how we work together, and have these backstories of how we came about to deciding what to finalize in the finalized page of each of the book. So it'll be he also gives I think there's some picture references if you keep scrolling down, I believe. We'll have a character, sketches like this, and he also has photo references that he's going to share with you guys as to what he does when he sits down and thinks about a panel and thinks about how he's going to present the panel and the camera angle and the shot.
So thugs really look like thugs.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's great. Yeah, there you go. There it is, right there. That's Mr. Gambino there, posing and and using as a reference for his panel. So
this is cool.
He is definitely a Renaissance man for sure. So he's been like I said, a great ally, a great collaborator. And that's all you can ask for as a writer, is you find yourself a great collaborator and an artist. Because if you have that, if you connect and mesh, you create magic. And that's what we're doing right now. We're creating magic.
Yeah, finding the perfect team, creative team. That's half the battle. If you have the perfect team, then all you need to do is get the book done.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so how far into production are you guys?
We're about I'm gonna say we have about I think he turned in the 20th page, so we're 20 pages in.
Okay, so still a lot to do.
We're about a quarter in,
right?
And Gambino has promised me that if we do reach our goal, then obviously he's gonna take a long break from his day job and commit to finishing the book as soon as possible to deliver it by it's going to be March of next year. That's when we'll deliver the book.
Right, that's the plan, March. Cool. Let's take a look at the perks.
Yes, let's
talk us through the perks. The first one.
Yeah, the level 1 is a sketch card, and it's a hand-drawn sketch card that he's offering for all backers. This is it's this limitless. So as many people can back this
for the backer.
Yeah, specifically for the backer. So it's just a sketch card. Only the sketch card is a thank you from Gambino himself. He's gonna hand draw each and every sketch card. So it's not a print. So if you back that tier and you have a specific if you have something specific that you want him to draw, you have to let him know before a certain deadline date, which will provide to you after the campaign is done. We'll
Right.
provide you the deadline. And so if you have an idea of what you want him to sketch to you, for you, you
Wow.
have to let him know, or else once the deadline hits, he's just going to
Yes.
draw a random thing and just send it to you. So if you have
Exactly.
something specific, you let him know.
So basically, you can call this a commission piece, a little commission
Yeah,
piece.
yeah, a little commission piece for sure,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, people like that. Commission piece for only $15, dollars, and then you can add on the books, right, or the book. So you have this, and then you can
No,
add.
that's just the sketch card by itself.
Okay, you don't have any add-ons to this campaign.
No, we have a bundle. So if you keep scrolling down, so we
Oh,
have the
okay.
card, we have the
All right.
book by itself, and then we have the bundle, which is
Okay.
cheaper if you have the bundle. So it's the book is for 15, the
Mhm.
sketch cards for 15, so that equals 30. But if you get the bundle, it's 25.
Right. Got it. Okay. Cool. Sounds like a great deal, guys. It's 80 pages. That's crazy. Plus a commission card. You
Yep.
can call it that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get the character you want for only $25, guys. That's crazy.
Yeah, the bundle price. This campaign we decided to go artist heavy, meaning the perks that we are offering are straight from Gambino. You know, Gambino has been gracious to provide his artistic
Yes.
services to backers who back any of the perks.
Mhm.
So this level 3 perk is the book again, 80 plus pages of
Mhm.
story for 15, and then the level 3 commission bundle is an original commission piece, 9 by 12,
Okay.
uh,
Cool.
for and only 15 available for this perk. So once the 15 is up, then that's it. No one else will be able to back it. But again, the same deal here, 9 by 12, and you could request him to draw whatever you want him to draw, and he'll draw it. But you have to do it before the deadline, or else he's just going to draw anything, random thing, and then
Right.
send it to you. So level
Yes.
3 is the book plus the 9 by 12 commission piece.
Excellent. Cool. Logo
The
bundle.
Yeah, the level 4 is the logo bundle. Now this bundle is you get the book, and you get he's also a very talented logo designer
Mhm.
himself. He's a graphic designer by trade. And so if you have if you have your this perk is good for the other artists on here in the indie comic book scene who are producing their own books as well. So if you're
Yes.
looking for someone to design a logo for your book, um,
Wow.
this is the perk for you. It's 100
Yeah.
for the book and his services to help you design your logo for your book or
This
any
is
other
very
kind of logo.
unique. I've never seen this before on a campaign.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. We spent a lot of time, in private streams hashing out what are we going to offer, backers. What can we offer backers? And
Right.
we went back and forth, and he, like I said, was gracious enough to offer his services
Right.
to other potential backers. And for this perk, it's only 5. So only 5 can claim this perk. So once
Only
the 5
five.
is up,
Yes.
then it's closed.
Because only for a logo, this is already a good deal.
Yeah,
Every creator knows that making logos, it's not cheap,
right.
if you want a good logo. So this is a good deal. Plus you get a book. So yeah.
Yeah, you get the book, the copy of the book, and you get a chance to work with Gambino. It's not just
Wow.
he's going to make you a logo and he's done.
Yes.
No, you're going to contact him. You're going to
You can
tell him
actually
I'm looking
talk
for
to
this
him.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
and he's going to work with you to make your logo.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Then you can get original art from the book.
Yeah, level 5 is the original art bundle, so you get the book plus a page from an original page from the book.
Mhm.
And again, he's drawn all the pages by hand, so you're
Right.
going to get the little sketches that he does in the borders with the page. You're going to get the any last minute edits that we do have, and there's a few,
Mhm.
but not a lot. But
Yes.
there's a few where he had to draw, he had to paste, a new panel on top of the old panel. So you'll
Yes.
see if you back one of the pages where it has that, you're gonna get that page. You're gonna get the whole thing the way he left it. So
Yes.
another great deal here. There's only 20 available for this one,
Mhm.
and
Cool.
I believe. Oh, and also I think I want to mention too. This unfortunately is not available to international backers.
Oh, right.
Because of the risk of damage
Right.
shipping overseas, and we don't want to send international backers, damaged goods.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, guys, because I know your audience are from the European continent.
Yeah.
This is not available for international shipping. It's only available
Yeah.
for American backers because of the higher risk that are involved in the damage that may cause in international shipping.
Yeah. These are not replaceable. You can send
Exactly.
a new comic book, but you can't send the same original.
Exactly. And that's what we realized, that we can only send the book, but not the original artwork.
Right. Okay. And then the last one, the level 6.
Level 6. This one blew my mind. I ain't gonna lie. This one blew my mind because of how cheap it may seem a lot because it's 400, but it's really freaking cheap. Here's what he offers. The book prints 3, count them, 3 original pages from the Vigilant Fury campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 sketch cards and 1 11x14 original commission.
Yes.
So you're getting a whole bunch of his original art, and it's only for 400. And again, unfortunately, this is only available for domestic backers.
Oh no.
Because again, it's international shipping. There's just higher risk of this coming to your home damage, and we don't want that. We don't want you to receive damaged original artwork, because that would just be terrible. And I wouldn't feel good sending you damaged materials.
Right.
And like you said, Dave, you can replace a book, but you can't replace original artwork.
No, no. I get it. And 58 Underground says, looks cool. Just
58.
Woo!
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Really,
Fantastic.
I truly do.
So let's refresh. We started to call this the little Brink boost. So,
dude,
okay.
you definitely have the boost, Mr.
Yeah,
my friend.
Here you go. 13 backers. Refresh, and you're at. Wait for it.
400. Woo!
Yes.
13%.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you guys. I'm humbled. Seriously, I'm like thankful and grateful that you guys are back in this campaign. You guys are really going to get a treat. I really do mean that. The story, I don't like to toot my own horn, but this is some of my best work. This is some of my best written work that I've done, and that I can finally say and have confidence in saying that, yes, what you're going to get is a fantastic story about survival, human survival. And it involves the protagonist is a woman, but she's fighting from underneath. And a quick little backstory about this, actually. This was supposed to originally be a male lead, a male character. And my wife, I'll give her the credit, she was the one who told me, why don't you just make it into a woman? And I was a little hesitant because, like, well, I've never written women. I don't know how to write female characters. I'm not
really that different. I think
it's not really that different.
she might think differently, but yeah.
No, I had my doubts writing a female character. She was the one going, "You're a writer, figure it out."
Yes,
you're scared of.
It's your job.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll help you out with that. And so she kind of helped me through the process of that. And so what made the story more compelling to write for me was the fact that my wife told me, look, you have to remember she's a woman, and even though she is showing bravado, she should also understand that she's dealing with grown men who are trained in military combat, and she can't go toe to toe with these men. She has to kind of, the way she put it to me, the analogy she used was Mortal Kombat, which was she has to do this with flawless victory. She can't, because if she gets hit or she gets got, she's done. She's done. The risk is like too high for her to go head on. She has to be a fox going up against a pack of wolves.
Exactly.
A fox will scheme their way to beat the wolves, but not go toe to toe. So I was like, okay, that can work. I could work with that, and that's where
Yeah.
we got
It
Vigilant Fury.
even makes it more exciting.
Yeah,
Um, because you want to root for her and
exactly, exactly. And I'm
right.
a sucker for underdog stories, so I love
Yes.
underdog stories.
Okay, man. It looks great. You still have a long way to go, but we have faith. This is your first 30
But
days, so you will extend it.
what was that?
This is your first 30 days, right?
My first 30 days, yes.
Okay, so okay, you can still do this. We will share this on social media.
Thank you. And
Everyone,
again,
guys.
thank you to your listeners, man. You guys stepped up today and
Yeah,
believed in the story. You
this
believed
community is great, man.
in the work that Gambino and myself are doing,
Mhm.
and I promise you, and this is the record, right? We're on the record here, right? On your show.
Yes, it's being filmed. Yeah.
You are going to receive a quality book. I guarantee you on that one.
Yes. Will this be hardcover, by the way, or soft
No, it's
or
going to be a soft cover.
right? Right.
It's
Okay.
going to be a soft cover.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, I like to wrap it up here.
Do
It
it.
looks great. We will share it around. I also like to remind the viewers that you can still back Perfect 10 issue 3 and Crossworlds while we are uh, producing issue 3. Once everything goes out, then we will end the campaign, and you can sign up for American Bliss Father's Pride, which will launch when we're far enough with the production. So I
Hey,
can't yet
wait a
tell.
second, wait a second. What is this project? This looks great.
This is basically I made a short story about American Bliss in a title that we have called Power Trip. It's this book with shorter stories,
Okay.
and people liked it so much. And I was approached by Michael Oden. He's the creator of the Embrace, and he
Okay.
wanted to write a limited series. And I wasn't really planning it, but he had this concept, and he showed me the plans, and I was like, okay, let's do this. So
That's
it's
cool.
basically a comic that I have little to do with besides being the creator.
Right.
Um, I do the editing, but I like to see people tackle concepts from the genuine universe on their
Yeah,
own.
yeah. Ah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
This looks, that whole that art piece right there looks fantastic. I'm digging it.
yeah, it's drawn by Eric Hodgson. Yeah, so
Nice.
so yeah.
And by the way, congratulations on your campaign success.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Yeah, so this was basically the show, guys. Mr. Freeman, where can people find you if they wanted to follow you?
Yeah, you can find me right there on Twitter at Elucid Comic, and you can find me on Instagram at Elucid PRD. That's where I'll just post, my some artwork from Gambino, and if you follow me there, you'll get updates and news from our campaign, and also we'll probably drop more artwork as we progress to finishing the book. And I hope you guys will join me on that fantastic voyage and help us get to the fixed goal, so that way we can get you that book and get you all the goodies. And
Right.
there's so much I'm going to offer. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, guys. Okay. The link to your campaign is in the description, as well as your Twitter link. So check it out,
Thank you.
guys. Follow Lucius, and I will be back next week with a new guest. I don't know who yet, but it will be a good show. So I hope to see you next week. Same channel, same time, new guest. See you later, guys. Bye bye.